My name is Pat Moore, and I'm an American comedian living in Berlin, and this is the story of my first ever comedy tour that took me all across Europe. Something went hilariously wrong at almost every single show, and the second stop on the tour was no exception. To catch you up, my show is called Mama's Boy, and it was all about my experience growing up with gay parents in the 90s. So I was off to the second stop on the tour, Dresden, a city that just screams fire emoji. Dresden is just a few short hours away via the train or Flixbus, depending on how poor you are. And I was excited because I had never seen the city before, and because it was close enough to Berlin that I could sleep in my own bed and save money on accommodations. So I got off the bus and I decided to walk along the river to the main area of the city. It was October 12th, something important to remember for later, and the weather was a bit gray and chilly, but I was on a tourist high, soaking in the beauty of the city. I think I was able to really enjoy the afternoon as a tourist because I knew I had moved enough tickets that the show should at least be decent. The one thing I was worried about as I walked around, and yes, visited a Starbucks. I know it's very American to go to a new foreign city and go to a Starbucks, but it's my security blanket and it's just a good place to poop. Anyway, the one thing I was worried about was that I needed to do a break in the middle of the show so the bar could sell more drinks. I had my hour-ish of jokes, but splitting the show in the middle didn't seem like a good option, and I was too poor to have an opener, so I decided on doing 20 to 30 minutes of crowd work, aka talking to the audience, taking the break, and then coming back and doing my show in its entirety. Now, to be honest, I was not good enough at crowd work at that point for this to be a good idea, but a plan is a plan. So after I walked around the city, I headed towards the venue and stopped to grab dinner, and that's when it all started to go wrong. I had a missed call from the venue, and I called back, and they told me they had double booked the room that I was supposed to perform in, and that somebody had broken into the bar and stolen their sound equipment. We were just a few hours from the show, and my calm went to panic. But the venue owner told me we could do the show outside on the patio of the bar. Now, doing comedy outside is notoriously bad, and doing it outside in October in Germany seemed much worse. But the owner assured me that so long as it didn't rain, we'd be fine. So I made a prayer to the rain gods and I headed to the venue. I arrived to find that the sound system they had sorted for me was a karaoke setup, another unideal condition. The crowd work, though, went better than it should have, but it still set a weird tone for the night, and there was a drunk lady who enjoyed getting talked to a bit too much, and she got a little too cozy with me after the show for both my and her husband's liking. In the end, I felt like the show went well. It was scary, it was the longest I had ever performed, and it was less than ideal conditions, but I survived, and that's what the tour was about, getting better. And I even had some fun riffs about being outside and in Dresden. After, I sat at the bar having a beer and killed time until my midnight bus back to Berlin. I felt alive, like I was living my dream, and I even made like €220 from telling jokes. Anyway, like and follow to catch the next stop on the tour in Austria where shit really hits the fan.